All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Say Less Footy podcast. It is the review show here. Welcome back. If you've liked and subscribed, thank you so much. Follow us on all socials. Everything you do, it helps push us out in the algorithm and grows our community and gets people watching along. So, this morning, going outside, you're feeling that little bit of chill in the air. You know that we're getting into footy season. A few more weeks. There's a bit of Origin chat coming around. This is the best time of year. The footy's been fantastic. We're going to review all the stuff. First of all, I'm going to welcome in the boys. Lots to say, as per usual. What the heck?
G'day. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Preston.
Yeah. Hello.
Meow.
Preston's got all shy today, but that's fine. We'll warm him up
Give it
very
10
quickly.
seconds.
Maybe it's the chill outside. Maybe he's just in awestruck of the great footy that we were watching. Another perfect round. Shout out to the NRL. The draw has been fantastic. A lot of the big teams down the bottom. A lot of the small teams. A lot of the strugglers from last year really bringing their game. The Dolphins are on top of the table. The Bunnies are on the bottom. Not the Titans, but the Bunnies are down there. One win. But yeah, it's just the draws made an absolutely fantastic. I've lost the words. It's just it's really leveled out the competition. It's really made a big difference. Before we get into our usual stuff with our tips and our shining lights, so much has happened this week. Holy, from the Bunnies to that massive. Everyone's saying it was a forward. It was a knock on from Tommy Talau for the Kohler try. I agree with the refs in the bunker. I actually think it was a knockback. I'm probably the 1% of everyone that does. There's just so much happening. Wayne Bennett being tipped up to maybe jump in and replace JD at South, or even is tipped around Parramatta with Brad Arthur. So much happening in the press, outside the game, inside the game. People getting sent off when they shouldn't have sent off. The Roosters Bulldogs. Holy, what the hell was that?
Yeah,
that was some game, but it was just it was crazy.
30 seconds in as well. Challenge used. It was just.
That was crazy. I can't believe they used that challenge 30 seconds in.
The whole game, the whole first half for us was ridiculous. So much went wrong.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. But anyway, let's first get on to the Bunnies. Boys. JD is probably given a game or a month. There's a bit of conjecture around like my first take on JD is he took over from Bennett, and Bennett's the greatest man manager rugby league's ever seen. JD is a bit of a tactician, but he's trying to be Wayne Bennett and try to be that man manager, and I think he's failing, and that's why last year Sam Burgess was blowing up saying players are getting preferential treatment. Like he has the right ideas, but he doesn't have the skills. He's not Wayne Bennett to pull them through, and I think that's a big thing. And I think it's a blessing that Latrell's been suspended for 3 games. What do you boys reckon?
Yeah, no, I'm bang on the same fact. JD's struggling to execute coaching. Some of the big heads that are in that team, some of the big mouths, the big personalities that are in that team. I don't know if anyone watched the New South Wales Cup game where Bunnies were playing Warriors on the weekend as well. And what's his name? Fractured his tibia.
Ilias. That's the one.
In the last minute.
Yeah. Freddie Lussick
Literally
got
lost
him.
30 seconds. It was insane. I think there's a lot of losses there. Obviously, you got the big fellas are out. Lockie Ellis is definitely ruled out. Cookie's not even named in the starting side this weekend. You've got a few more shucking in on the Rezzies. I think he's trying to do some big stuff. He needs to make some drastic moves. Supposedly, the meeting for the head coach, whatever that meeting's called, is the back end of every 3 months or something. So he's got a couple months. I think a month or two.
To kind of
just
redeem
wait.
himself.
Yeah, just kind of get everything in check. Chats are talking around possibly Sammy Burgess coming back to taking over a
Crazy.
Well,
coaching role.
Yeah, look, they play the Sharks, they've got to bye, and then they play Melbourne and Penrith. So basically, this looks like the game to sort of save himself, essentially. So it's kind of like there's a board meeting in a month. Talk around Sammy Burgess, but he's killing it over in Warrington, and they want to extend his contract already. So
he's already come out saying, "I don't want to leave this club." But I think for the Bunnies, if it is to do with the Bunnies, because he wants to coach in the NRL, and it's the first thing he said when he left and joined a coaching career, he's like, I'd love to come back and coach NRL. It's one of my dreams. I'm fucking hoping for it.
Especially the Bunnies as well.
Yeah. But would you want to leave such a successful team overseas? He's absolutely killing it. They're making a really good name for himself to come back and basically babysit what JD's been babysitting for the last, year?
He's well paid. He doesn't have as much spotlight on him, and he's home around his family. I think Sam Burgess is very happy.
Yeah, he will be.
And you know what? Once you're retired from playing, you've got years and years and years to coach. Do you want to come in and take over a team when there's all those personalities that
Could be
you
too
sort
early.
of disagreed with? Give it 5 years, Sam. They're probably going to offer it to you once you have you win a Challenge Cup, you win the premiership
Yeah, you
over
got a bit
there.
more under the belt for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you reckon about Master Uwe Bennett possibly coming back? He's the first name that's been spoken about by a lot of different people to come back to the club if JD gets the flick.
He doesn't have a contract next year, but is he not? Has the New Zealand coaching already been given to Stacey Jones? I thought Bennett was in for that. It kind of works for him to be a representative coach. He doesn't have to coach all year. Bloke's like 74 years old. He's still absolutely killing it. Someone said this week, I think it was Gus Gould, said like, no disrespect for, maybe it was Paul Kent, but he said no disrespect for Wayne, but Wayne will coach until he's put in the ground. Like he won't stop. Like he loves it.
No, he loves it too much. Yeah, he's all about it.
I can't really see Bennett moving away from Dolphins for a while though, because he's put in a lot of effort, and I know for a fact that he's aiming for a lot of the younger players as well, young and up and coming here in Queensland. So he's putting a lot of effort into these players and trying to bring them up. I don't see why he would do all this work and then go, all right, I'm going to go back to the Bunnies. So
there's no contract there. The contract is for Christian Wolf to take over next year. That was sort of signed as a 3-year deal.
True.
The first year of all the recruitment and get the club going. Second year was yet last year. This year, it's the end of his contract, and he doesn't want to be a football manager. He's a coach or nothing. So he loves it. He loves getting around the boys. Every time you talk, you see an interview with anyone that sort of played under him, they're like, he absolutely loves it. He sits up the back of the bus on the way back to the game.
That's funny.
He tells all the rookies, "What the hell are you doing down here? Get down the front. You're not allowed to be up here." He is the greatest coach because he's the greatest man manager. You can be the best X and O's person ever in not just in sport, in business, in anything. But if you don't know how to get your team around working for you and actually caring about what you're trying to do, you're gonna fail.
Yeah,
it's just
so,
for sure.
Hypothetically, if you do get the best man manager back, which is Wayne Bennett, back to Souths to kind of recreate them, are you getting rid of players? And if you are, who are you getting rid of first?
Oh.
If Wayne comes back next year, you don't need to.
Yeah.
He will put his arm around them all. Latrell's going to be running on bloody rockets on his feet. Cookie's going to be flying. Cody Walker especially absolutely loves Wayne. Walker's, 34, 35 now? Walker's getting on.
He's up there. He's
34, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He's definitely got a bit of a mentor role in the team, I think, but he's not looking what he used to. Even a year, 2 years ago, he's looking a bit slow this year.
Who? Walker?
Yeah.
I thought you meant Wayne Bennett.
Oh, no, mate.
Look at him, it's slow.
Bennett's been a bit slow.
No, Bennett's killing it. The Dolphins are on top. He is on top. He's just, and you look at his roster against the South roster. Look, we could talk all day about this. Let's move on to one of the most controversial tries of all time. Manly versus Panthers. What a great game.
That was a good game.
3-10 brought up for DCE and played the absolute house down. Scored 16 points on his own. Set up tries. I think I've seen a lot of his milestone games, and he's very unlucky, and they'll get a loss. It was so good to see a big game like that when they got the win. But yeah, the pass coming from South, the knockdown from Tony Talau. I am in the 1%. I actually think I think as soon as the ball touches the ground, the refs are always quickly to blow. That was a knock on. I actually think it went back. I actually agree with what's his name, Todd Smith. I think it went back. Everyone stopped, just thinking that's what the refs do.
Play
if
the
it goes
whistle.
back, they're gonna play the whistle.
Yeah, exactly.
Kohler picks it up, runs the length of the field. They try. It turns the game. I mean, like it got them from 2 points ahead to 8 points ahead, but I think Manly were always going to win that anyway. So
No, it was massive. I reckon. I watched it. I watched it live, and I thought it was gonna get called back. But when you see it in slow mo, I reckon he does get away with it being a knockback. But like people say, every day of the week, that's a knock on. You know, every time. But you know, you look at it properly, and it looked like it was knocked back. And even who was the ref that called it?
Todd Smith.
He apparently he's touchy this week, and the NRL was saying, it's not because of the call he did, but it's the first time he's been a touchy. So
He was reffing the North Sydney Bears game on the Sunday.
Yeah,
and that was on the Saturday.
and
so.
apparently,
really?
apparently he's a touchy like for this week or something. But apparently it's for the rotation. But we'll see.
That's interesting.
Sent down, surely not.
It's got the sit.
I don't think so. They were just saying it was a normal rotation, but it's the first time he's ever been a touchy. So,
Fair.
but I reckon it was. I was fine with the call.
Unfortunately, I'm with the masses on this one. For me, it was a knock on.
Black and white, knock on.
Black and white, knock on. Yeah, ball hits the ground, and it was the right call at the end of the day. Regardless on what could have happened, either 2 points ahead or 8 points ahead, it was a knock on for me. And DCE may played incredibly, and I don't like giving this guy hype because everyone knows I'm not a fan of him, but he's been fucking killing it this season, and it's hard for me to not enjoy watching him play footy because he's so fucking good at what he does.
Look, we'll get into that game anyway. So we've spent a bit of time on the hot topics. That's the name of the segment. It's new. I love it. Hot topics. Get around that one. Spent a bit of time on that one. Let's go and recap the tips, and then we'll get on to our shining lights. So we're going to recap the tips from last weekend.
Right.
Storm up against the Broncos. We all tipped the Storm.
Ding, ding, ding.
What a game. What a game.
Yeah.
That was a great game.
Great game.
Roosters and the Bulldogs. We all tipped the Roosters. We all doubted the mighty Bulldogs, and the Roosters almost came back with 11 men. What a crazy game. We're probably going to spend a fair bit of time on that, but we will get there. Knights over the Dragons in a very, very wet. Good to see Jacko Hastings back, blocking out the haters.
230 mils of rain. Sorry, just a quickie. 230 millimeters of rain
Part
that
2.
night.
There was some hair, just kicking into those puddles. It brought me back to schoolyard days.
Yeah, it looked fun.
Yeah, that actually looked fun. The next game was Warriors versus Rabbits. Myself and Preston went the Warriors. Brendo went the Rabbitohs.
What? Yeah, bro.
Wow.
Not up the was.
Don't at me.
Manly versus
up the
Panthers. Boys were on the Panthers, and I just knew. It's my Dalian favourite, DCE. 310 gains for the Manly Seagulls. On to the next game, Tigers versus Dolphins. You boys got off my Tigers, and rightly so. I was there. Appy struggled with a quad injury. Both teams lost a lot of players to injuries that game. It was a brutal game.
Justify yourself when we get to it.
It was hard, justify it. It was on a fast track, but Dolphins with the win there. We all took the Cowboys. Titans looked a bit better, but Cowboys got the win.
Shine.
And the last game, you boys were on the Eels, and I was on the Raiders. So from the basement to the penthouse again, 6 from 8, right here, back on top. Brendo, you have a 4, and Preston, you got 5.
Yes.
So
I didn't actually, evens now, aren't we?
I think I'm down by 1.
You guys should be even now. So 16 plus 5, quick math, 21, 17 plus 4, 21, 19 plus 6, 25. Got my 4-point gap back on. We'll put that on Instagram.
Damn it, frick.
No, we're taking that this week. I'm getting
Frick.
this.
Damn.
The work tipping comp as well. Fucking Tommy, Andrew.
Oh, mate.
Frick.
Save that for work, mate. Nobody knows who Tommy and Andrew are.
Everyone, they're the only 2 people that are not betting on Tigers ever again.
Fine.
Frick.
We're going to win this week. Anyway, on to our shining lights. And I'm going to start because the 3 points, massive deserve. DCE. We spoke about him briefly, and we'll speak about him a bit more. My Dalian favourite for this year. A little bit of a slow start. but he will come home flying. There's there's a lot of pretenders at the top, and Kalen Ponga just gets points for putting on his headgear at this point. So does Nico Hines gets points for tying his shoelaces. Everyone else is struggling for points, but DC will win the Dally M. Isaiah Katoa, a player who played against my Tigers, and watching him in the flesh, there should be more hype around this young man. Like, he was so consistent, didn't miss a game last year. You know, there's a battle with like who his halves partner. He's had so many different halves partners. He's consistent. He's got a good footy brain, and he's 19 years old, and he is fantastic. Stop saying there's a half shortage. There's a good young crop of halves coming through. So 2 points to him. Still on the halves. All of my points go to halves. 1 point, Ethan Strange from the Raiders. Another fantastic performance. He is probably, for me, shaping to be the rookie of the season. Obviously, Lockie Galvin is not because he's been suspended. He's ineligible, which is absolutely disastrous. He gets a point. On to Preston. 3-2-1. Let's go.
I did Joey Manu for 3 because of that second half. You know, he just about nearly carried the friggin' team to win over the Doggies down that many points. Like, I remember when I checked the scores halftime, and even his stats, he didn't do much. And, you know, they were down so much. And then I checked the stats after the game, and it was just stacked. So, massive game from him. So, I gave Joey Manu 3. I actually gave, so for my 2, I split it. I went 1-1. I gave 1 point to Sipley and 1 point to Brown. Like, in that Manly game, like, you don't see it much, but they were on top of that Panthers forward pack. They're one of the best forward packs in the NRL, and they came off the bench and just worked them. And I feel like that's what kept the Manly real, like, in front, you know, with that forward pack moving forward, and gave Turbo, DC, and Brooks to move and time to move. So I gave 1 point each to them, to Brown and Sipley, and then I went Edwards for 1. Like, he kept the Panthers in the game. Like, he did everything. While I was watching that game, I was just like, he get a try out of nowhere, and I was like, where did he come from? And he's always safe. It's still an Edwards. So yeah, but that's my 3-2-1.
Nice.
Yeah, just making up your own rules. The scoring system, fantastic.
Great.
My 3-2-1. Dylan Edwards cops the 3. Yeah, he's an absolute rock, bro. He's so dependable for the Panthers. Don't need to speak much about him. 270 run meters on the weekend.
Always.
Bro was just everywhere. On and off the ball work rate is insane. 2 spot for me is the Nickel Clockstad. He came out raring this weekend. He was fucking awesome. He was on. And number 1 for me is Scotty Drinkwater. I thought he played really, really well.
Drinky.
Yeah. Really, really good.
Sorry, mate. I tuned out on your second 2 points for. Who was 2 points for?
Charles
Nickel.
Clockstad.
Oh,
Clockstar.
Good to see him back.
CNK. It is good to see him back.
It was.
Sorry, I got a little bit distracted.
Seen him,
Every
mate.
single
Both pretty
podcast,
face.
he
Wait,
always
what?
dependable for Brendo to drop at least one F-bomb. Loves it. Passionate man.
Passionate.
More footwork? All right.
More
Look,
energy.
we've waffled on for a fair bit of time here, so it's time to review the games. Let's get into it. Big game. Storm over Broncos. Absolute game. All the tipsters, everyone talks about NRL is like, oh, it's going to be a rainy weekend. There's not going to be many tries scored. Absolute hogwash. There was tries galore, and it all started with this one. It was huge. Action-packed game. What a great way to start the round. And Broncos were within a whisker of breaking the Amy Park hoodoo. So close.
Until
Amy
Reynolds
Park.
got injured. That for me was the turning point.
Yeah.
I mean, the big argument around like that he got signed to the Broncos because the Rabbits didn't want him was because the Rabbits had him for 8-9 years and knew that his body's sort of been held together with
Tape.
toothpicks
Tape.
and bloody chicken wire. Like he's there. He's there as like his kicking game's unreal. The way he guides a team around the park, like he's an elite halfback. But you're gonna have that. But it's good to see the way the Broncos stand up without him. Like, Broncos are suffering with so many injuries at the moment.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, every team is. So it's really leveling out. But for me, Eli Katoa, like the way
sure.
that he worked together with Hughes and they identified to keep going at Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam's a good defender for a half, but they went a couple of times. They'd go the short ball, they go the long ball, and they just kept going, and then they found it. And I think that was the difference between them winning and losing. The way that the football IQ and the way that they identified that as a point of attack where they could score points.
I think I said this in episode 1 or 2, like mentioning on Jerome Hughes. He's fucking awesome.
I love him.
Apologies for the F-bomb. Yeah, he is so good. His footy IQ in general is really, really, really good. The way you're bang on. The way he did work with Katoa on the weekend was insane.
That right side's really chiming. And they're using Katoa so much. Like you said, with that inside ball to Pappy that they've been doing a little bit. Obviously, it didn't go well, but they've been doing that. Obviously, the quick turnaround pop they're doing, and then out to Warbrick, and then letting them hit the holes and then dropping it straight to him. Like they've been using him so much. So and that right side's chiming like crazy. So
some really good combinations there.
Yeah.
So for a halfback, your peak time for a halfback is probably like 27 to maybe like 31. Jerome Hughes is 29. Like he is in the absolute sweet spot of his career for being a halfback, and he's you still have the movement, the speed, and the footy IQ is developed. So Jerome Hughes is only going to get better.
That footwork as well, off the right foot. So good.
Yeah. All right, on to the Friday night game. Bulldogs, Roosters. Wow. Just
disappointing.
Yeah. Bulldogs out of the blocks the first half. I don't think the Roosters came out of the dressing sheds. Like I don't know where they were. Were they still down at Bondi Beach? Like it was so weird. Like the Bulldogs just, I feel like they got given a game plan, and I think Serraldo simplified it. They went out, they identified the way that they could get overlaps, and find gaps in there, and they just really executed it. Obviously, Dom Young send off, Teddy getting knocked out, Sammy Walker, HIA, like there was just so many, and that's just for the Roosters. The Bulldogs lost some players as well, like young Edwards with a neck injury.
Yeah, so
I'm missing someone else there, but like
Taff.
Taff, obviously with a head high. It was a bloodbath, but it was just I can't put the game into words. Like it was a game of two halves.
Yeah, it was.
A game of two halves.
the best way I can put it is, and I've seen this happen with the Twickies before. They underestimated the Doggies coming into this.
Crazy.
And they have done this before with other losing teams in the past, and you can tell it right off the bat because the spark's just not there. Their halves aren't on. The boys just aren't doing what they usually do out there. The combinations weren't fucking playing. Doggies came out and destroyed us. In that first 10 minutes, it was all theirs. It was insane. We couldn't do anything.
I wouldn't say 10. I'd say the first half. 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you think?
It's tough for me.
Like you're a Roosters fan. Do you think it's an ego problem? Like you got to think about that. Like they were like, yeah, it's the Bulldogs. Like easy 2 points, because you look at the Roosters roster, you look at the Bulldogs roster. They think they come out and they play big against Melbourne. They play against Penrith. They play against Brisbane. They're big. I think they might have an ego problem where they come out and they're like, oh yeah, we've got this one wrapped up.
Look, a lot of teams do it, and they underestimate lower teams. I don't think there's an ego problem. Robbo's pretty good there with settling the boys back down. They've got a lot of very good grounded individuals in their team. Warrior Hargraves is happy to pull all the younger boys in line. I don't think it's an ego problem. I think they just thought, it's going to be a light one this weekend. It's raining, meant to be pissing down rain. It's going to be a breeze over. Doggy's track record here is pretty bad, statistically speaking as well. So I think they just thought, okay, this is going to be a walkover. And obviously it started in the very first 30 seconds with Dom Young choosing to make that, choosing to use their challenge, and Teddy going along with it. And it was just downhill from there for that first half. Second half was great. For the Chookies.
Amazing. Second half.
But the first half, Teddy went down like a sack of potatoes.
That
Imagine that big man running at you.
It looked like when he got cracked by Marco Silva.
Yeah.
He dropped the same way. I was like, oh no, not this again.
Imagine that big man running at you, but.
Ouch.
Sure not.
Sure not. Or you.
You got anything on this presser?
Nah, not really. You guys have said it all, so.
Yeah. Just something quickly that I just remembered seeing during the week. Adam Dewey having a chat to Robbo at the Wenny Park Dogs.
Saw that.
Wait, what?
Adam Dewey could be his contract ends to the Tigers this year. We are absolutely stacked with halves. He's not getting re-signed as a half. Absolutely not. He might be a Roosters man next year. Adam Dewey.
Where would you put him?
What's Adam doing?
Where would you put him?
Nowhere.
Mate, he's an effort player. Anyway, on to the late Friday night clash. The wet and wild Knights up against Dragons.
KP.
Jacko Hastings, I think it was the Jacko Hastings show. It was good to see him get that first try, block the haters out. I love Jacko. Good to see him back. I said last week going into this game, Jacko and Jack Cogger. That's your halves pairing for the rest of the year.
Sure.
I feel bad for Tyson Gamble. He did amazing last year. Play him as a 14. You don't have Kurt Mann anymore. Like Gamble would be a great 14. If someone gets injured, bring him back in. Like he could play a myriad of roles. He is a half, but I'd run him at 13. You could run him second row.
You can run him at hooker. You can run him anywhere.
I wouldn't say hooker. I'd probably say centre.
I reckon.
He's a utility man.
He's a utility. The Dragons still played all right. It was just obviously what's the fullback's name? Sloan got a bit of a roasting about about not sort of putting his head in where where people's feet are. Like just basically harden up for the coach. Flano's a bit of a no nonsense kind of guy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it looked great out there diving, like kicking balls into puddles and diving on it. Like
they were using it to their advantage for sure.
Ponga realised obviously it was going to be wet out there, so the kicks he was doing, he adjusted his kicking game.
Yeah,
and he was putting in shorter, sharper kicks because he knew that ball and shorter, sharper kicks on the line as well. He knew that ball was going to
right on the line.
It's going to hit a puddle. It's going to flop, and then it's just going to stay there. He adjusted his kicks, and just the little things he was doing then, I thought really stood out to me. That was awesome to see.
He was on.
I didn't see. I saw him kick like twice. Like I don't know.
A few more than twice.
I thought it was more Hastings and Cogger.
Hastings did play well. It's good to see him on form.
But I think Ponga walked away with the 3 points. Like I said, he puts on a headgear. He gets a dally.
He was on.
Like Ponga's playing well this year, and it's good to see him playing well. He's finally the last sort of end of last season, start of this season. He's finally starting to
settle in,
realize the potential that everyone had he tipped when they spent millions of dollars getting him from the Cowboys. So it's good to see. And my hot tip: Kalen Ponga will be the number one for Queensland over Reece Walsh.
I reckon as well. I reckon. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
It's tough.
All right, on to Rabbitohs Warriors.
I reckon.
This victory for the Warriors is coming for a long time. What they played so well last season. I think Andrew Webster is an absolute genius. They played and they were just smashing teams. Like they were playing so well. They were on. They started the season a little bit slower this year. Obviously, C&K only came back. And then Tamari Martin slotted in beautifully in the halves. I think they're just they're taking their time a little bit. Maybe they peaked too early last season. And I think Webby's going to have them just peaking at the right time this season. But this was an absolute just superlative performance. Rocco Berry, wow. Like he is maturing into a great center, runs good lines, perfect defense. Like Adam Pompey's only going to be in the team this year with injuries because RTS and Rocco Berry have him locked down. Jackson Ford's playing huge. I can go through the whole team. Warriors up the wires. Warriors absolute fantastic. We spoke a bit about the Rabbitohs. They need a lift. There's lots of changes. We'll get onto it in the tip show, but I don't have much to say about the Rabbitohs. Rabbitohs suck at the moment. Warriors, Preston. Anyone impress you in that game? I mean,
Vintage SJ is back. You can't know. Every time he has a good game, you just flick back and you see him, and it's just like Vintage SJ is back. But like, it's good because you don't only need Vintage SJ now. You got, like you said, Ford and RTS is there, Chance is there, and they don't even have Dylan Martinez or Lesniak yet, like back in. So it's going to be massive, especially with that combination on the right. It's so nice. But I feel like they got a massive push this year. I reckon they're going to come real close. And when you're saying with peaking later, not early, I think you're right with that as well. Like, it's going to be good. I can't wait to see closer to the end of the season with them.
No, you want that. You don't want them to peak too early.
Yeah,
to
that's what I
find
mean.
their form, settle in. Their attacking lines on the weekend look great. Their combinations they're finding really, really well. Klockstad obviously entering back into the game. I thought he had a stellar of a start of the game. Beautiful run straight through the middle of the bunnies. Offload try. It was it was good stuff.
280 metres, ran tackle breaks. Like, he was like
Who was that?
CNK.
Yeah.
He absolutely smashed it.
So he's
Like,
got
Didn't
2
even look
points.
like he was
because
gone.
they
My
were
2
talking
points.
about the week before about RTS went back there and then all the
No
runs meters he made. Like, but he was actually talking about like RTS is his favourite player, and now RTS is his
Chance
kid's
time.
favourite player.
Yeah.
He's like. He's generational, man. Like, it's
massive.
So's SJ. Like when
Oh, yeah,
when he got
SJ.
that when he got that elbow to the jaw, I was like, oh no, he's too pretty. Like, but it's fine. His
He
jaw's
walked
fine.
it off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
He was shook by it,
Yeah.
100%. Like, what's my mate hit me like this for?
yeah.
But
Yeah, nah.
The Latrell knew what he did and tried to give him
Yeah,
a couple
he
of
Yeah,
straight
I saw
away, you could
that.
see him
I
trying
was
to
like,
console
come
him.
on, bro.
He's like, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah, it's been an
Dumb
idiot
move,
is what
dumb
you're
move.
doing.
All right.
big
Moving on. Oh, 4:30 Saturday game. Got a bit to say on this one. The mighty Seagulls taking down the Penrith Panthers. Look, no Nathan. The Panthers did really well last week without him. Brad Schneider was good with Jerome, but just with that halves pairing and Tom and Jake, just it even Croker. Like I felt this is why I tipped him. I knew that there was just a bit too much experience to guide Eagles around the park and at home. DC is 310. He played the absolute house down. Everyone was on. Like, Corey Riddell had some drop balls. It was also his like 150th game as well. Got a try.
Yeah.
Like he had like a bad first half, but he come back and redeemed himself. And he was playing. I think he ended up. Was it Ruben Garrick went down in this game? Or
And
am I
yeah,
thinking
and
last
Burbo
game?
shot over to the right centre.
No, I think Waddell went out there to start with.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Burbo going to right, Ben Travojevic going to right
It
centre.
looks like
but
he's playing right centre this week coming.
yeah, they pushed him out there, and he actually looked not too bad. He slotted him well, but was it Waddell? Yeah, he looked good. He was hitting proper lines and all that, so he was looking real good.
Nathan Brown's runs off the kickoff, off the back
Off
fence.
the back
like,
fence.
This is why he was so fantastic at Parramatta, and I don't know why they absolutely dogged him. Like, there's a lot of
Absolutely.
there's some big boppers in the Parramatta forward pack, but half of them are cats. Like, now, no, absolute cats. Nathan Brown is a footy player. He would just put his body on the line. Like, he would get smashed by Moses Leota,
And
but he'd get back up
and
He's
play
just-
the ball. Yeah,
Oh, like that's
what you want to see.
like that's footy. That's absolute footy.
That
Like,
whole ball pack is really good when you look at it. Paseka,
Alloy.
Sipley, and Brown stacked for front rows.
Oh yeah, and you know, not a bad back row either. You got Jakey, you got Olaquatu,
yeah.
Burbo.
I
like,
know.
Hey, who
Massive.
the man who can't get a look in and probably going to come on and play if there's any injuries is Brad Parker.
True,
probably
they
gonna come
want to
and
play him
play-
at second row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all he does is take heavy hit ups. Like
Massive.
they've got depth.
They got depth. Nah, when I was watching the game, one thing that stood out to me was without Cleary, like they still play well, they can still score, but like Luai and Schneider do not get their wingers and centres involved much. Like all the back five, only one that played well was Edwards. All the rest of them didn't get involved at all. And we know the tackle breaking and the post-contact meters that To'o, May, Tongo, and Taruva make. But like, yeah, like even Luai would go out to the left side. He'd go look and boom, left foot, all the way back into the middle of the field.
Yeah.
So it's just like they weren't getting them involved. And I feel like Cleary coming back this week, round 7?
No,
Round
it's
six,
round
round-
6 this week.
Oh, it's round 6. They got the bye. Well, next week gonna be massive for them. He's gonna really tidy up everything that they've been missing, and yeah, I reckon Penrith back onto it again.
Yeah, no, I agree. Luai seemed a bit of a hog out there. He just kept putting a step on, going nowhere. Oh, now I hit the line. It's like,
Yeah, I know.
what are you doing, bro?
Not good. Oh
Yeah.
no, hold on. We can't forget about DC's kick from the sideline, how he kind of shanked it, but then it curved back in.
Oh, the fade.
Yeah, and
The
he
first kick.
Yeah, and he looks at the camera and goes, "Oh, yo." Yeah, he's like, I was like, "Yeah, nice." I was like, "There's no way." That was good. Good game.
On to the next game. Saturday night. Up at Suncorp
Here we go.
Stadium.
Here we go.
Dolphins up against
back.
Tigers. Look.
Can we get ours in first, and then you can just...
Yeah.
All right. Say what you will, boys.
You go.
All right, this is a no-brainer win for me.
It told you.
No-brainer win for me. Tigers are looking better than they have in years, obviously. But the combinations of Katoa, Herbie when he's back in, Cody Nikorima and Bostock, really, really good to see.
Clicking. Yeah.
Really, really clicking. What do you all take?
For me, it's the Dolphins have had such a great run to start. I just want to see how they go up against some tougher teams. I forgot what the lineup was, but they have a lot more tougher teams now. So I want to see if those combinations are still chiming and working over the next month period. So yeah, that's probably the only thing I got on that.
Nice,
There you go, Brent.
Back to you.
What have you got on it? Brent,
All right.
what have you got on it?
Look, saw the game in the flesh. Lots of injuries. It was a physical game. The Dolphins came out really, really well. There was it would have been 6 apiece if there was a forward pass ruled from Jareem to Juzzy Olam. It would have been 6-all. Probably would have changed the game. Fatape was absolutely huge. 2-try hero for the Tigers. Appy went off with a quad injury. Josh Kerr went off with an eye injury. Johnny Bateman, HIA. Samuel Afenu. Like, big minutes were played by Stefano. Katoa, just... Obviously, this is why I gave him 3 points. Just watching him in the flesh and the way that he runs around the field. And he's a 18, 19-year-old controlling these big, experienced forwards. Like, he's an absolute superstar. Hammer was on. So you get rocks and diamonds with Hammer. Absolute diamonds. He just had the speed. There was some lazy defense from the Tigers. Who broke through? Was it Felice Kafusi broke through,
As soon as I seen that, I was
ran
like,
the fastest he's ever run, started cramping up, and then popped the ball off to Hammer for a try.
Always there.
Yep.
Yeah, look, the Dolphins are on top of the table. Like, they've earned this. Wayne's a happy man. Like, there's still so many people on their extended bench. Like, there's quality come through. SOS can't even get a start. Balance Tafare. Like, the Dolphins are building into... We could be sitting here in a couple of years saying the Dolphins are like a powerhouse, like the Melbourne Storm.
Yes.
With someone like Wayne Bennett, like this is a great way to start. He started the Broncos like this, and look at the Broncos. They've been a powerhouse ever since they come to the club in 1988.
Biggest fan base in the NRL as well. Apart from the Panthers, everyone coming out of the woodworks the last few years.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry for the Dolphins.
We love Penrith.
No, Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos have the biggest fan base.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, hands down. All right, let's quickly get through the last 2 games. Cowboys, Titans. Look, Titans look better. Cowboys, I think they took the foot off the pedal sort of halfway through the game and sort of let the Titans get back in. AJ Brimson needs to be closer in, and Beau Fermor is starting to get back to his 2022 form. Scotty Drinkwater, fantastic as usual.
Yep. Ruben Cotter, Mel Holmes, Scotty Drink.
All of them
3.
on.
Tuolagi, wow, he just sort of hits a bit of form about 6 weeks out from Origin every year. Like the control with his hands for that
exact
try.
same thing last year.
Tuolagi,
Yeah,
What a guy.
and it's a shame to see poor Zach Labart go off injured. He started the season so well. He played as many games and scored as many tries as he did last season, and now his season's over. That's an absolute shame. But yeah, anything for you guys on this game?
I think my the biggest take from this was Dylan Brown needs to run. That was my biggest take from it. He needs.
Oh, you moved on to the Eels Raiders game, have you, bro?
Oh, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
Oh
No,
my
that's
God.
fine.
What
Hey.
the
Looking at my
hell?
notes then as well. Like,
I was like,
You know what?
Nah.
Let's move on. Like, I mean, we know the Cowboys. The Cowboys just beat the Titans. So let's move on to the Raiders
Titans are
Eels.
trash.
oh,
Let's talk about
my
Dylan Brown
God.
because you're actually bang on the money. Like, but how is he running? He needs to be a 6.
Yeah.
They don't have a 7.
Yeah,
They've offloaded Arthur. They don't have a good 7.
Yeah, you watch that game, and he was doing a lot of defending, and I'm pretty sure he saved a couple of line breaks and tries. Like, all he was doing was defending, and that you need a half. And I think their best bet is probably Dejan Arce, who is probably not normally a 7, but he's still a playmaker, and he can take a bit of that weight off Dylan Brown to be able to kick the ball around and pass the ball around, because it was Clint Gutherson coming in. I think Talangi maybe got like 4 or 5 touches of the ball. Like, I barely saw him that game. So they definitely need to get Dylan Brown running the ball more than, trying to set up stuff. So
No, you bang on. He was absolutely doing too much defending. That's why Sivo is going to be dropped this week. He's the one trying to stop the tries. Who was that crazy try in the corner? Was it Timoko late in the game?
Yeah, and he had him by the
every time Savage down there, every time Dylan Brown's out there trying to stop tries. So when he's trying to guide the team around, he's out of attack. He's just out of gas for attack. So Eels looking shaky. Raiders bounce back with another big victory.
Yeah, no, I agree. Timoko obviously had a double. He had 87 fantasy points. Savage out there with 261 run meters. I'm spitting on my iPad. It was a great win for Ricky and the lads. I think it was really, really good.
Yeah, the tackle breaking was crazy, but I definitely think what was his name, Rapana, when he got hurt, couldn't even get off the field, and then came back. I was like, there's no way. Like, he just trots back on and catches a high ball and lands straight back on that knee and gets back up. Yeah, bit ginger, but keeps going. I was like, Fruh.
Well, he's out now.
Yeah, well.
6 to 8 weeks.
Can't believe he got... Yeah, I know. 6 to 8 weeks is rough. But, you got players like Chevy Stewart that could come through and do it, or even Seb Chris. So, but yeah, like, that's massive. Like, showing that type of, like, heart to get up and play again, even though they had Savage. You send Savage back, you're fine. But he's like, nah, I'll be all good. So it was pretty massive. It was good to watch.
Well, they didn't send Savage back. They sent Chris back, which Chris sort of did the job last year. Like, I don't know, you keep Savage on the wing. Like, when you get him, in space,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, he looks electric.
Don't touch him.
Don't touch him.
He's awesome.
That spray from Ricky must have done wonders. Like, but
They
needed it, but Para for me, Para and Dragons for me are like, what's going on? Both of them are flopping around at the minute. It could go either way for them. And they're both really tipsy-turvy. But let's.
Yeah, we've spoken about all the games. We've gone through everything this week. If you made it to the end, you're absolute legend. This is a review show. We'll be back tomorrow with the tip show. Thank you. Say less. Peace out.
Yo. Peace.
Yo.
You're a gun.